Hi, I'm Joel Dolger. I'm the Director of Community Relations and Housing Counseling here at CCOA. As we speak, we're all trying to struggle our way through this COVID-19 pandemic. And I know a lot of people are trying to get some answers to some really key questions. Some of those key questions surround your finances. And what we tried to do is put together a resource page that will help you answer some of those questions and help you deal with some of the financial problems that you might be trying to address right now. So let me take a few minutes to kind of walk you through part of this and give you a sense of the resources that we've assembled for you, the tools that you can access through our site, and show you how they might be of use in dealing with some of the problems that you're facing right now. I'm going to share the screen that with you and let you know that right now, if you go to our website, and that's ccoacares.com, the first thing that you'll see is this overlay on our homepage, and it's gives you a link to some tips on staying financially stable during this coronavirus public health crisis. If you click on that, it's going to take you to a link to the money guide. And the money guide is really the resource compendium that we put together. Click on that, and it takes you to our money guide. We see that you're trying to make your way through a difficult journey, and that's kind of the theme that we've got here on this. You can scroll down and you can see that we've tried to address a number of different topics, anything from student loans, eviction and foreclosure, scams, debt collection, credit protection, 10 different topics in all. And let me take you a little bit time to walk you through some of these to show you how it can be useful to you. You know, a lot of people have student loans, and if your income is down, it might be difficult to try to figure out how it is that you're going to try to make those payments. If you click on the student loan topic, it's going to take you down to that section of the page. And you'll see that the first resource that we offer you there is the FAQs for borrowers. Click on it, and it takes you to a website through studentaid.gov. That's the Department of Education website. And it will show you all sorts of different questions that people are trying to address right now. You might know already that if you've got government loans, federal government loans for your student loan borrowing, that if they are for direct or in some cases FFEL loans, you have a forbearance period that you're under right now until the end of September, where you don't have to make any payments, where the interest rate is reduced to zero. And there are a number of other benefits that resulted from the CARES Act that was implemented. So if you've got questions about that, you can scroll through this page and hopefully see what the answers are that are provided by the Department of Education. Going back to our website, another link having to do with student loans comes from the Student Loan Borrower Assistance website. And again, it helps you to understand which loans are offered forbearance and which are not. One of the big points of confusion is people don't understand whether their loan is a government loan or not. They might think, well, I've got a loan through Nelnet or through Great Lakes. What you have to understand is that that doesn't describe the type of loan that it is. What that describes is simply that that's the servicer of the loan who's taking the money and posting it to your account. But this will help you to identify what type of loan that you've got through the NSLDS website, the National Student Loan Database website, and whether your loan would qualify for forbearance. Good chances you've probably already been notified if it has been eligible. Let's go back to our website. So student loans is one critical topic that some people are addressing. A bigger topic that people are addressing is just the health concerns that they might have. And you might not know exactly where to go to in order to get straight up answers on some of the questions that you might have. We think that the Center for Disease Control, or CDC, is probably the best place to go. We've got two different links there. I'm just going to go to the fact sheets that they offer. If you click on that, you see that they've got a bunch of different print resources available that you can go to. Some of them are in other languages, but if you scroll down, you can see that they have addressed topics like information about cloth face coverings. And click on that, and you can get to the usually 1-page or 2-page fact sheets that they offer. Very useful information and a very reliable source. So if you need answers to some of your health questions concerning the COVID crisis, the COVID outbreak, you can get those through the fact sheets that are available there. Along with the student loan debt, a lot of people are also concerned about their mortgages or even their rent payments for that matter. For some people, they are getting relief as a result of the CARES Act that was passed a month or so ago. And that is, if your loan is a government-supported loan, that would include your FHA loan, your VA loan, your rural development or USDA loan, as well as Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loans. You can get a forbearance where you don't have to pay make your mortgage payment for a specified amount of time, and then you can catch that up later without fear of foreclosure. Now, if you can afford your mortgage payments, by all means, you should make those payments. Using a forbearance is not going to forgive your payment that's required. But you get a little bit of breathing room if, in fact, you do need that assistance right now. And for those loans that are covered, they can put you under a forbearance for a specified period of time. And then after that period of time, you can either make additional payments to catch up the missed payments, or what you can do in many cases is put the payments that you missed at the end of the loan, or even extend the loan. So there are options available for you. As with the student loans, a lot of people don't know what type of loan that they have, because all they're used to is figuring out who they're sending their payments to. You send your payments to the servicer, but that doesn't determine the type of loan it is, whether it's an FHA loan, whether it's a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan. So the first thing that you need to do is determine what type of loan that you've got. We've got a link here. The National Housing Law Project put together a couple-page sheet here that helps you track down whether your loan is from Fannie Mae, for example, or whether it's from Freddie Mac. They tell you how to contact the Department of Housing and the FHA, Federal Housing Administration, or contact your servicer to find out whether you have an FHA loan. Good chances that if you've got a VA loan, you probably already know that it's a VA loan, being a veteran and knowing what the benefits of that are. And the Department of Agricultural or Rural Housing Service would be the ones who could answer your questions about whether your loan is a rural development loan. This link, this page is also really useful for answering a number of other questions also. But that helps you determine what type of loan that you've got. And then if you want to figure out what sorts of benefits you might have under the CARES Act, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, has some useful information on their website, a guide to coronavirus mortgage relief options. And you can scroll that. Answers a number of common questions. What are the relief options? How do I get mortgage relief? How do I watch out for scams? All really important stuff. So back to our website. HUD has a fact sheet that you can go to. Again, you can track down whether your loans are Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac through links here. The National Consumer Law Center gives you some really useful information about knowing what your rights are, and make sure that your rights are protected. One of the problems that was reported early was that some of the mortgage servicers were poorly trained or not well informed about what the benefits were of the forbearance under those loans that were covered. And so some people were being told that if they used forbearance, that once the forbearance period was over, the homeowner would have to make a big lump sum payment in order to cover the missed payments. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. And so I think this web link here tells you a little bit more about what your rights and to some degree what your obligations are as well. But if you're a homeowner worried about that, missing payments, it's good to get caught up on that. A lot of people are facing the problem of unemployment. Businesses have shut down or work hours have significantly reduced. And as a result of that, a lot of people are thrown into the ranks of the unemployed. It's nothing to be ashamed of. These are resources that are available for you. And so it's good to be informed about what's going on with all this so that you know what resources that you can rely on. So under the heading of unemployment, the National Employment Law Project gives you kind of a overview of what is going on with the boost to unemployment compensation. For those who claim unemployment under the CARES Act, you can get paid an additional $600 per week in addition to what the state is paying you on unemployment. Back to our website. Legal Aid put together a really nice resource sheet about emergency guide to benefits, and it deals with unemployment, but also deals with other related things. Like if you're out of work, you might not have enough money to cover your food expenses. So families might be able to apply for SNAP, what formerly was known as food stamps, or how to apply for Medicaid if your healthcare provider, your health insurance was provided through your work and now you're out of work. You might look to other sources, and Medicaid might be an alternative source that you can look to. And they give tips to help you. And this in particular, a little bit down, okay, in the unemployment area, tells you sort of what you have to do, the requirements, and what the steps are in order to apply for unemployment. It's a very useful page all in all. And if you're facing unemployment, particularly for the first time, I'd strongly recommend that you look that over. Oh, and here's something that we added to this as well. You might, if you're out of work, maybe you have more time on your hands. One thing that you might be able to do is to enhance your employability prospects. One way of doing that is to get online education. And right now, the University of Arkansas is offering dislocated worker training programs for free. So there's no cost to this, but they have a variety of different courses that you can take. This website tells you what is required in order to get access to these, but a wide range of different topics are available. And so look these over. Some of them involve technical positions, others less so, but some very good opportunities to improve your employability prospects. So we've talked about student loans, we've talked about health benefits, health concerns, that is, about mortgage and rent issues, unemployment. It's unfortunate, but scams are one of the things that are popping up. And I guess it's not surprising. I think there's people who crawl out from under the rocks when they see others are suffering and try to take advantage of them. So what you've got to do is make sure that you're going to be careful not to fall victim of scams. Probably the best thing that you can do is to recognize the different types of scams that are available. Well, we have 4 different links here. I'm just going to pop on a couple of them. Bankrate.com talks about 3 particular scams. They tell you how to recognize scammy websites. That online offers of products that claim to prevent disease are most likely scams. And if people are worried about their investments, they really don't want to be taking advantage, they don't want to be subject to scams that are guaranteeing safe or guaranteed investments, because they are most likely scams as well. So that's from bankrate.com. The Federal Trade Commission has a similar website, and you can explore that to find what they're trying to identify as the scams and ripoffs that they're seeing pop up. We included a section on banking, in particular, knowing that a lot of people are unbanked or underbanked, that many people do not have a checking or savings account. And early on in the process, shortly after the CARES Act was passed, there was this the stimulus checks, what are called the economic impact payment checks that were going out. And if people did not have a banking relationship, they were going to have to wait until those checks were mailed, and the delay could be significant for a lot of people. So we gave you some tips here on establishing a banking relationship. In particular, the Bank on Arkansas Plus website we listed here. Bank on Arkansas Plus is not a particular bank, but what it is kind of a set of standards that banks can agree to live up to provide low-cost banking services available, simple and low-cost banking services available. And so you might want to check that out. Unfortunately, we're about in the middle of May right now as I'm recording this, and the deadline to provide the IRS with your banking information is just about up. And so you wouldn't be able to significantly change when you would get your check if you haven't gotten it already. But still, it's probably a good idea to establish a banking relationship. Much lower cost for banking services than alternatives. Okay. Since we are a credit counseling agency trying to help people with their personal finance issues, we also included a section dealing with personal finance tips. And again, we relied heavily on our friends at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau because they are so thorough. And so you'll see that there are resources and tools link there that you can go to. And gives you some ideas of how to keep up with your bills and what to do if you can't keep up with your bills. How do you prioritize and make sure that you're paying those bills that are most important, that are going to have the least negative impact on you if you're not able to make those payments in a timely manner. And it's probably a good time as well, if your income is restricted, if it's gone down, to take a closer look at your finances. A lot of people get by just fine or even on a tight budget during normal times, but if you're facing less than normal times right now, you might want to track your expenses. And the CFPB gives a number of useful resources, like they're getting Money Smart set, the tools that they offer to help you track spending, build a budget, pay off debt. And so if those are some of the current concerns that you've got right now, I'd strongly recommend that you explore this. I mentioned that you might not be able to pay all the bills that you've got right now if your income is significantly reduced. And again, the CFPB gives you a link there that can help you strategize which way to go. If you're dealing with credit card debt, Bankrate.com has reached out to a number of credit card issuers. And some of the credit card companies are willing to offer a period of deferment for your payments. So you don't have to make any payments for 30 to 60 days, depending on who the creditor is. Bankrate.com contacted a bunch of them, from American Express, Capital One, Chase, Discover, all these various credit card issuers, and kind of lists out what they're offering and what you have to do. Now, these deferments are not automatic. You have to reach out to the credit card company and request that period of deferment. You probably also want to ask them how long it's going to last, whether you're going to be charged finance charges during that period of deferment, and perhaps most importantly, how they're going to report that deferment to the credit reporting agencies, whether they're going to report it as missed payments or not. But this website gives you some useful information as well as contact information for some of them. But look to your creditor statements too to find out how to reach their customer service departments. Keep in mind that a lot of them are backlogged, so you might have to devote some time in order to get that done. In additional personal finance tips, one of the financial concerns that people might have right now is debt collection. If you're not able to make your payments on your debts, perhaps you're getting calls or letters from collection agencies. The CFPB, again, is a great source of information, and they offer you some tips to help ease the impact of dealing with debt. And among the most useful things that it has here are sample letters that you can use to connect with any creditor, any collection agency in particular that is reaching out to you over an overdue debt. And you have rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And what they can do in this website is give you an information about unfair practices that debt collectors have used in the past and that you don't want to be subject to. But again, if you've got collectors that are hounding you, great source of information there is the CFPB. Credit protection, another critical issue. If you're missing payments, how is that going to affect your credit standing? And we've got a couple of links here. Again, from the CFPB, how to protect your credit. One of the things that is important to recognize is that normally you are able to get one free copy of your credit report from each of the 3 credit reporting agencies, one free per year from each of them. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But under this coronavirus pandemic, the credit reporting agencies have made an exception, and you can now get a free credit report from each of them once per week. So if you want to keep an eye on your credit, go to the annualcreditreport.com website. That's annualcreditreport.com. And you can get access to your credit reports much more frequently. Keep in mind that annualcreditreport.com does not give you credit scores. It only gives you the credit report, the information in the report itself on which the scores are based, but still, that's useful to know. And that information is emphasized again in the bankrate.com website. And that's where I first found out about the weekly access to your credit reports that you can get. There it is right there. The so-called stimulus checks were a concern for a lot of people. The economic impact payments is what they're called. And a lot of you probably already have received your checks. If you haven't, you can check on the status of your payment. This is an IRS website. And if you filed taxes in the last 2 years, you can track down your payment that way. Now, a lot of people don't have to file taxes. If you are drawing Social Security, for example, and that's your only source of income, your income might be so low that you don't have to pay taxes on it. So you might have to provide the IRS with information about where you live, where to send a check. And so as a non-filer, you can go to their link here, provide that information to the IRS in order to make sure that you get that payment if you haven't done so already. And this website also helps answer questions about whether you're eligible for economic impact payments or not. If you've seen anything, if you've gotten any sort of notices online saying, we're here to help you get your stimulus checks, there's a good chance that that's a scam, especially if they use the term stimulus checks, because the official term is the economic impact payment. And so the IRS is not reaching out to people via email. They're going to do that via postal mail, I'm sure. So this is our set of resources and tools. We put it together to help you address some of the concerns and questions that you have got right now, and we hope that you find it useful. Check it out. We know that a lot of people are facing very severe challenges. Just want to reassure you that we're here to help, that CCOA continues to offer all of our services, and that our staff is working remotely, but we are doing our basic counseling session, credit report reviews, student loan repayment counseling. All of our services are still currently available, and we're just conducting those sessions by phone. So if you need our help, reach out, give us a call. We'd be glad to assist you. Stay safe, and we'll stay with you.